Hello and welcome to Silent Creativa. Though my first year of making YouTube content is nearly over, I decided to learn something. And I watched quite a lot of poppen atelier videos lately, and yeah, I thought I would like to give it a try to follow her steps and her advice to make a doll, and yeah, to get a little bit better and more realistic in my doll game. I used a Draculaura and an old wig I had laying around for this doll. I had to do a lot of things I haven't done before, and one of that was painting the head before I rerouted it. And I used some acrylic paint and put in some glue just to give it a little bit more flexibility, and yeah, I hope that it will stick better because I thought pure acrylic paint could chip. The glue didn't make anything better, so it chipped anyway. Maybe it was because I had quite a long needle and had to push the hair into it quite far, but doesn't matter. So then I started rerouting and I used some hair from an old doll wig that I had laying around for I think 5 or 6 years, and I wasn't quite happy with the way the wig was styled, so I just reused it for this first more realistic doll. So far, I mainly used yarn wefts for giving my doll's hair, and one main part is that rerouting takes quite a long time, and getting the hair down again is, yeah. Always thought it would be quite difficult. It wasn't in the end. It's okay. But the main problem is that it's time consuming and I'm a lazy person. So I'm not sure how many dolls I will reroute in the future, but I have to say it looks great, but it takes so much time. After I was finally done, I took out some tacky glue and spread it inside the head. And yes, it is exactly the same glue that Poppen Atelier uses, what I think is quite funny, but doesn't matter at all. So far, I wasn't quite convinced that this will stay in place, but after leaving this for 24 hours and then brushing out the leftover hair, it was okay, and so far it stays in place. So it seems to work. And then I tried to mask off the hair the same way Poppen Atelier does, and I will say Poppen Atelier quite a lot in this video. um, and that was surprisingly good as well. I've tried masking off the hair after rerouting in some different ways. I already used just some paper towels or fabric like Delightful does, but I think this is quite a good way for it. And I also took out some sanding paper and swatched out my chalk pastels on it, what makes it a lot easier to get the pigment off. Normally I scrape it off with an exacto knife, but this is a very great technique. And I think I will stay with it as long as I have some sanding paper. I'm not sure at all if it is the amount of techniques, the weather, or whatever, but I used a lot of MSC. I again counted the layers and I went a little bit crazy. I mainly think it is because weather conditions and that I sprayed too close to the doll and that the color won't build up because of that. I tried to change some things in the dolls I am making at the moment, and it's a lot better, so the fault may be with me. Let's talk for a moment about Poppen Atelier herself. Since I started watching doll YouTubers, I followed her and watched her videos. I wasn't quite sure about her all the time because sometimes her makeup is a little bit too much for me. But lately she changed some things in her way to make dolls, and I totally adore her dolls now. And that is the reason why she is the first doll YouTuber where I think it is worth it to follow every of her steps. I think it's normal that you take some things from everyone you watch and use some techniques, and I just wanted to get as close to her dolls as possible. I think I will use a lot of this of her techniques for my next dolls, and I already used some on the two dolls I'm working on now. But I don't want to copy her from now on for all the time, for eternity. So I try to get more into a mix of my own style, which is a little bit more simple and more comic-ish, and her style. So I have to figure it out how to get something in between. So maybe the next dolls will look a little bit more like I am trying to get Pop and Atelier. What is not my goal? My goal is really just learning from someone who really knows what she does. And I reached out to her on Instagram to ask her if she is okay with this video and if she is okay with me using some of her pictures. She didn't answer my mail, what is not a big surprise for me because she works on a weekly schedule and she has a lot of stuff to do. And with the things going on YouTube lately, there is a lot to consider. So if she will see this video, I hope you are okay with what I did. And yeah, so I didn't use any of her footage because I thought, mm, if she would have said that she is okay with it, I would have used it, but not without her permission. So if you want to compare my doll to one of hers, please check out her videos. I will link her channel down below, and yeah, if you go to her channel, please leave her lots of love. Shading a doll this much and this dark was extremely strange for me, and there were a lot of times when I thought, oh, this is totally garbage. But I tried to follow her step by step, and then after I used the pencils, it all came together quite nice, and especially when I used some acrylic paint to make the highlights in the eyes, I was totally blown away by how nice this doll looked compared to my dolls that I did before. So if you try to follow the tutorials of her, stay with her until the end. It's getting somewhere. I was a little bit surprised because I really thought, oh, this will never look as good as her dolls. And I'm still convinced that my doll isn't looking as great as hers. But I'm very pleased with her. She looks a lot more realistic, and I'm very happy about her looks. After 13 layers of MSC, I was finally ready with her and you could remove the masking and do something with her hair. I didn't thought the hair dryer method would work because I thought her hair is too thick and it's too much and this will never be okay. And I will have to use boiled water to get the hair down. But uh, it totally worked with a hairdryer. So everything I ever thought would be tricky on the videos of poppen atelier worked extremely well. So maybe I have to apologize to her. While I am struggling with her hair, and I'm struggling a lot, I think I want to talk for a small moment about the things going on YouTube lately. As I understand it, to save the younger audience, YouTube will put a lot of channels on YouTube Kids or a lot of videos. And for me, that wouldn't be a big problem because there are not a lot of people watching my videos, and so I'm widely unknown, and I don't earn anything from YouTube, so that wouldn't change anything for me. But making or repainting dolls needs some materials like acetone or MSC, which is toxic, that I don't feel that comfortable with showing to kids and yeah, telling kids to use. So if YouTube will put my channel more on the kids side, I think it is time for me to leave YouTube. I don't want to say that I think it's a bad idea to make more kids friendly stuff, but I think I made this channel more for an adult audience, and if YouTube will decide to put me on the kids side, it's totally fine with me, but I think then I will stop making videos just because of my personal thinking of stuff like this. I think toxic or things that could harm you belong only into hands of an adult and not into the hands of a kid. So we will see how this will go, but maybe I have to say goodbye at the end of the year. Back to the doll for the last moments of the video. I only blushed her neck and her hands because you already see the clothing I made for her, which are surprisingly modern for my likings. And yeah, because you won't see anything else of the body, I decided to go the lazy way. And after putting her hat back on, I thought let's compare her to another Draculaura I made. And I had to go a little bit back in time, but n- yeah, it's totally different, and I'm really happy with the new result. And as a last stop, I gave her a little bit of nail polish, which was brown too, and then I was finally finished with her. If you like to, let me know what you think about her and if I reached my goal to copy Poppen Atelier more or less. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and we will see us next time.